Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Lily. I'm so happy that you are here with me today. In today's video, I am going to show you, you're not going to believe this, how to take a tissue box just like this one. This one is so pretty. And I'm going to show you how to make a topper for your junk journal. Isn't that so stinking cute? I know you're going to love it. So stick around and I'm going to show you. Let's get started. Thanks.
Okay, I will begin by pointing out all of the beautiful features of this topper. The backing is by just a piece of corrugated cardboard that I had to go hunt for a piece of corrugated cardboard. And then there is a layer of thrifted lace. And then on top of that, we have the tissue box topper. And then I've added some metal embellishments that I've had for a really long time. And then some beautiful Prima marketing flowers. And then as I make this new one with you, I'm going to show you all of those steps too. So these tissue boxes I pick up at the Dollar Tree. It's where I've been buying them for a long time. And so I have been saving these boxes because they are just too cute to throw away. And it's like a 2-for-1. You get two beautiful printed sides. Well, in fact, all of the sides of these tissue boxes are beautiful. Whether they contain the sentiment or not, you can repurpose a lot of the box itself. But these in particular have two sides with the equal sentiments. And so I cut those out and save them for future use. I knew that I would eventually work with these. I didn't know that I would be making toppers, so that was a nice little surprise. So these are so pretty. There are other designs. If you shop for tissue box in your Dollar Tree, there are, different sentiments that you can use. Okay, so now that I have broken down my tissue box, of course, after I've used the tissue, and now I've cut the sides out, I'm going to give it a layer of Mod Podge for extra protection, extra durability. This is completely optional, you guys. And the main reason why I'm doing this is, in 2019, I bought this huge bottle, 64 ounces to be exact, of Mod Podge. Why did I think I would need 64 ounces of Mod Podge? I'm wondering or thinking back to maybe I thought I would be doing a lot of Mod Podge, or I thought I would go through it much faster. Anyway, here we are almost 4 years later, and I still have half of this bottle, which I'm also currently using as my adhesive for all the things. So I actually poured some into a empty art glitter glue bottle, and that is what I'm using as my liquid glue. And it works great. Okay, so I've given a very thin layer of the Mod Podge, and that is my step number 1. If you Mod Podge, make this your first step. So you set it aside and let it dry while you work on the other components. So here is the scrap piece of corrugated cardboard. I actually found it. I have a stash of supplies in my garage, and so I went looking through those things and came across a great piece of corrugated cardboard. Not all corrugated cardboard is the same, so I made sure to grab one that was somewhat sturdy. And you can cut this with a utility pair of scissors, something that will really cut through that cardboard. And sometimes I do struggle with the scissors and cutting through thick material. And so if you also have an issue with that, you can also use a utility knife, like an X-Acto knife, and then just cut through the paper that way. Sometimes it can be easier. So now I'm going to cut it to size, and I don't want it too big, but I do want it maybe, what is that, maybe 1 inch, a 1-inch border all around my tissue topper. And then, so I'm just measuring it out. And then I'm also going to further distress the corrugated cardboard. It's such a neat element to add to your projects. I love the juxtaposition of pretty and grungy. And so because this tissue topper is so pretty, it has a beautiful sentiment, a beautiful blue floral design, making it very pretty. But I needed a little bit of grunge to that. And so I love the look of those two, of pretty and grungy. So I kind of edited out all of that part, but it took about 5 minutes for me to take a pick and kind of pick out all of the little edges and only the areas that are visible. Sometimes you'll get some corrugated cardboard where that top layer easily pulls apart. This one, I struggled a little bit, and so there were a lot, and you saw as I moved all of those little scraps away, a lot of little pieces. But it really only took 5 minutes, and I know that because that's the part I edited out. So just take your time with it. It's really cool, and you can grungy it up and remove as much or as little as you like. And now I'm taking the back of my pick, and I'm pressing down some of the ridges in that corrugation. You could also run it through your Big Shot machine and completely flatten it, which I have done so in the past. But I only want to add some markings in some areas, almost so it can kind of look like it was organically distressed through the elements and through the years. And so just going in there and roughing it up just a little bit. And this was a lot of fun. And it's all up to you on how much grunge you want. And then, as you noticed, I also curled up some of the edges to give it some natural curling, or the look of natural curling. And now let's grungy it up some more. This is my favorite chalk paint. It is by Folkart, and it is just white chalk paint. I love working with this. So I'm going to do some dry brushing. Very loose, very free all around the edges. And I'm using the cardboard as my palette. That center area is going to be covered up, so it's okay to use as your palette in the meantime. And just very loosely add a little bit of white paint. You can also use coordinating paint if you like. If you want to use gold paint or maybe some blue paint, it's entirely up to you, but I think the white was a nice backdrop, and it worked well. The combination of the cardboard with that white paint, it just looked really nice to me, you guys. And then on the corners, I'm going to add a little bit more of the white chalk paint, and that's just to frame it out even more. And of course, I want to be able to use up some of that paint. And it's just a little bit of dry paint, very loosely. And it looks like a hot mess right now, but it turns out so pretty, so cute. And then just smoothing out the paint in the center so I don't have any lumpy lumps there. And now I reached over for this beautiful lace trim that I picked up at the thrift store, and then cut a piece, and it's not the exact size of the rest of the topper, but that's okay because I only want portions of it to show in that background. And many of you may be thinking, oh my gosh, you're wasting it right in the center. Yes, I know. I didn't realize that until after. So if you want to salvage more of this, you can actually trim it so that you only use little strips on the edges, and then you save more of that lace. But I didn't think about that in advance. So and I just placed it over that corrugated cardboard, and now I'm measuring to make sure that everything is going to line up just the way I want. And notice how at the bottom I left some of that little ruffle trim down there. And I'm using hot glue with this. The only reason I'm using hot glue is because I've been neglecting my hot glue gun. And so I'm trying to use up all of my supplies. And so it was handy, and it's really easy because it dries very quick. But just remember, if you use hot glue, just be careful because this one is made for floral arrangements, and it gets really hot, and I may have burnt myself a couple times throughout this process, but just be careful with the hot glue. I reached over for a bag of Prima marketing flowers. I love these flowers. I've been collecting these flowers for years, and I'm trying to use them up more often. I'm also always on the hunt for new flowers. I find them at the craft stores, and also I happen to find them at thrift stores. And then I just put them in a baggie and save them for later. Some of the craft stores will sometimes clearance them out, and that's when I take advantage and buy hordes of packages because they're just it's too good of a deal to pass up. I thought I would use a different color variation, but I'm actually going to stick to the same, those fuchsia and that rose red type of color. It's just so pretty. Beautiful, beautiful color. And so again, be careful with that hot glue. It was heating up as I was talking to you. And it dries so quick, so quick. But I'm also going to show you a glimpse of the other glue that I also use for my projects, especially when I'm going to glue heavier items. This one I wanted to make sure too that it really went through all of those layers, the topper, the lace, and the corrugated cardboard. And I had burnt myself, and I don't want to do that. And so I grabbed this silicone spatula that's actually meant for the kitchen, but it works really well. And I may have picked it up at the Dollar Tree a while back, but this works as like a finger, so I don't have to burn. I don't burn mine. I can avoid that. And that's the ultimate glue that you could also use. It is a great bonding glue. It works on metal and glass. So one or the other. You just want to make sure you use something really good. Even tacky glue. Aleene's tacky glue works really well. Use what you have. Just make sure it's an adhesive that isn't going to, break down or come apart. So I'm taking some of this little foliage and adding a little bit of hot glue. And I'm only going to use 3 of them. I think 3 is a good number. It looks good. And this process goes by really fast. This is actually one of my shorter videos. Can you believe that? When I looked at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, I think some of you are going to love this. It's a short video, and it's kind of to the point. There's not a lot of time spent cutting and things like that. So it goes by really fast. I did edit out some of those longer periods where I'm maybe cutting or waiting for things to dry. But you didn't need to wait for those things. And holding down the flower for just a moment because I want to make sure that it really adheres. That was a glimpse of my glue stick. I've been neglecting my glue gun for a while. My glue sticks are yellowing. They are kind of old, but they work just as good. They're, I don't think that glue sticks expire. I don't think they do. It melted just fine. And then holding the flowers in place just to make sure that they really, really grab on. There are other tissues that I have, and some of them will say live, laugh, and love, and it's in beautiful, like a taupey colors. And I had it handy. I should have shown you the variety of tissue boxes that are out there. But if you get your tissue boxes in different shops and they have beautiful sentiments or beautiful designs on the sides, just break them down, save them for later, just flatten them out, and you will eventually have an idea to work with them. I'm sure they would make great card toppers too, or even journaling cards. But I thought these were just too pretty not to use as junk journal toppers. In fact, that's what we're doing. We are making junk journal toppers. Did I mention that earlier? If I didn't, I am now. So holding things down, that little silicone spatula really comes in handy. And I gave a little clap. It made me so happy the way it's coming together. Oh, here's a little oldie but goodie. This is a little tin that I've had for many years. I want to say around 2010. It's an old old Stampin' Up! Supplies that I've been kind of holding on and also not using as much. And so they hold a lot of different little metal embellishments. They are not all Stampin' Up!, but the majority are. And then I started using it as a holder for other things, like little metal embellishments that have words on them. Also these cute little brad butterflies and dragonflies. And there's also other sentiments. So it's not all Stampin' Up! In here, but this is what I use, this little container. But I've not used these in a long time. And in fact, I have two of them. I have two of these. So I'm going to be adding a lot more metal embellishments to my projects. And it's also quite a challenge to be able to use supplies that I haven't used in a long time, trying to figure out ways to incorporate them into my supplies. So that's a good way to do it. Just grab yourself supplies random. It can be anything, and then challenge yourself to add them into your art pieces or your beautiful projects. So I've selected a couple, actually 3. So I have a brad photo corner, and then I also grabbed a beautiful oval, a little metal sentiment, and then a cute little dragonfly. And I didn't do a dragonfly or a butterfly on the first one, but as I was thumbing through, as I was looking through the little box, it was there, so let's add it. And I'm adding a little bit of this ultimate glue on the back of the brad. I just want to make sure that it will be flat on the cardboard, and that's just extra security there, so it really holds, even though it has a brad in the back, and I'm going to poke a hole through and make sure it's attached. But it wasn't holding flat, and I know this from the first one that I made. It was kind of coming up on the little edges, looking like it was going to fly away. So that's why I add the glue. And then poking a hole, the hole pokes easy through the cardboard. Just be careful you don't pierce yourself on the other side. And that ultimate glue, it works really well on metal and on glass and on plastic. So I really like this. I do have an Amazon storefront, and I have an Amazon affiliate link in the description area. So if you would like to see the tools that I use for my everyday making, you can hop on over, click on my affiliate link, and you can see a list. I have different categories, but I also have one with adhesives and then another with tools. So if you're curious about what I'm using here, hop on over to my Amazon link and you can take a look, and there's more information there. Lots of information in the description area. And if I miss something, please make sure to leave me a comment or a question. And I am always happy to elaborate, and I try to reply to all of your comments within 24 hours, you guys. So I do read all of your comments, and I do reply to all of you. So thank you very much. And now adding that cute little dragonfly. I have had those for such a long time. Like, why haven't I used these more often? Because they're tucked away looking pretty on a bookshelf somewhere. And sometimes I forget. I do recommend that you go through your stash periodically, and I try to do that. And that's how I came across these. Sometimes out of sight, out of mind. And all of my things are out in the open, but sometimes they're behind me or they're tucked away in a different area. So, as you walk into your craft space or as you're looking through things, I think it's fun to kind of go through all of your supplies, just kind of peruse what you have, make a mental note of it. Bring some things out that you haven't used in a while, place them on your work table, and then you'll be sure to reach for them and use them in your projects. I will be using these as junk journal toppers on altered books that I will be making. I've had a lot of requests for my process of altering a book. And so I will have that in a near future video. I am working on that. I held the brat in place with a clothespin just to make sure that it lays flat. But it kind of, when I lifted the clothespin, it kind of tore. Did it tear? No, it didn't tear it. It left it kind of gummy. The glue, it left a little bit of gumminess there, and I left the glue stick on there too long. Not the glue stick, the clothespin on there too long, and so it was almost became permanently attached. And I didn't like, there was a little blemish there. And I know it's grungy and junky, but I'm going to cover it up with a little flower. No one will ever know. Plus it looks cute. So I'm just adding that, and I squished it so it kind of grungies it up a little more. The flower looks a little more distressed. And I actually like the way this one turned out with that little flower up there. So, so cute. But yes, as I was saying, so I will have a video in the near future as to how I alter a book and then make a beautiful junk journal out of it. And so here is one that I will be working on. So I want to show you, give you a visual as to how this is going to look on top of your journal cover. Oh, so, so pretty. So beautiful, you guys. Either one. So I will be working on that altered book. So stick around for that one. I will have that in a near future, and you'll see how I complete these journals. But oh my gosh, they turned out so stinking cute. Yes, they did. All right, stick around. I'm not done with you guys.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. I sure hope you enjoyed that video. You guys, I want to thank everyone, each and every one of you, for being here with me today. You have helped me grow, and you know, we've reached our goal before the end of the year, and I am so excited. I just want to send each and every one of you a great big hug. I appreciate you being here, and I thank you with all my heart. If you're watching and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I would love to have you here. I have so much more content planned for the future. Content like this. Tell me these aren't so stinking gorgeous. They are so cute. I love transforming trash to treasure, and these are just some of the things that I like to work with. I appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you next time. Bye!